this is Leah and the channel What the Heck Do I Know? I did a separate channel trailer to explain what the purpose is of the channel itself, but I wanted to share a little more about me and how I started on this path. Even before I started working for a living, I didn't know it, but I was already using PM skills sometimes in my regular life, mostly on school projects, but some personal things as well. All of the training I had when doing typical high school and college jobs like part-time fast food and retail showed me that there were many ways that you could do things, but some were better than others. Sometimes I even came up with better ways of doing things that were already established because I would look at individual tasks as part of a whole. Now, I worked with a lot of really smart, wonderful people back in those days, but at one point I looked around me and noticed that there were a lot of people that were a lot older, had many more personal responsibilities than I did, and were not making much more money than I was. I decided that I was not going to be in the same position forever, and I wanted to strive for more. This led me to start looking at my life as a project. I had an idea, I planned it out, and I took the first steps towards going as far as my capabilities could take me. Now, where I actually am now is nowhere near what I had originally planned, but I'm okay with that. Sometimes when I think back, I know that some of my coworkers were just as capable as getting ahead as I was, but maybe they didn't know how. This is one of the reasons I'm doing this. Even if this helps only a handful of people to get where they want to be, then for me, it is worth it. The lessons I learned in those early stages helped me in other areas of my life, and I progressively got jobs requiring more responsibility. My first truly responsible job was in the construction industry, and I was fortunate enough again to learn from the people around me. This was at a time where project management itself wasn't really a separate thing. There was no scheduling software, budgets and progress were managed on paper and spreadsheets, but we still had a process, a generally accepted way of doing things, even though every project was different. After I started doing PM training, I realized that the process I was already using was pretty much the same things I had learned in my 20s. I believe that if more people knew about the project management process and how easy it is to apply to their everyday life, it might actually improve their lives. And that brings us to today. After I left my last position, I gave myself 6 months to set up a channel, start writing a companion book, and get as many people as possible on this learning track in the next 6 months. And then I didn't do it. I was so overwhelmed by all of the things I wanted to do to get this channel off the ground, as well as a bunch of other personal things I wanted to do, that I was just kind of paralyzed. We'll cover how and why this happens in a full video later, as well as how to push past it. There were so many questions I needed to answer, like who is my target audience? Everyone. What to name the channel? What was my focus going to be? I didn't want to limit myself to just one topic. There were also many practical things like whether to build a website, channel, or get a draft of the book together first, and I'm still kind of struggling with that one. I'm sort of working on all at the same time. Anyway, that I started lots of individual tasks, but I never really finished any of them. I was worried that if I didn't get it right from the start, that I would fail. So I distracted myself with a lot of things that didn't matter instead of committing to this plan of writing and shooting the videos. I spent a lot of time listening to audiobooks on how to do this kind of stuff and watching tutorials on YouTube. Gary Vee was an awesome inspiration, reminding all of his viewers that it doesn't matter if it sucks at first, just get started. And at the time, I ignored that advice. More recently, I have been getting reminders that this idea was not about me. It was and is about sharing information for people to use to make their lives better and making it accessible for everyone. Anyone really can use this process to accomplish anything you want. It can also help you decide whether or not something is really for you, instead of wasting a bunch of time and resources on something that is just never going to happen. So recently, I was doing my typical scrolling through Facebook on my phone, and I finally got the kick I needed from Emily Smith in an excerpt of her TED Talk about whether it's more important to be happy or have meaning in your life. And for me, it has always been about meaning. So thank you, Emily, for the reminder. I hope you get something out of What the Heck Do I Know? And I hope that it helps you with whatever you are trying to improve. Thanks for watching, and if you do like my videos, please subscribe and share with friends.